what's ripening YouTube. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that in the grass, but we are in a drought. It is so dry. But I want to come over here and show the agroforestry planting that we did basically in the winter during the dry season. And I think I've been able to water these trees one time. And I want to show you what agroforestry can do in a dry environment. You see my grass is basically brown. I don't know how it's coming up in the camera, but let's turn around and check out what's going on in the tree lines. So these are existing coconuts, and I have an existing line of ice cream beans. So we have something already here, a little bit of shade, and we did our mulching and we did our planting. The bananas that I mentioned in the past have come up. We put corms down and those came up. We've got cassava coming up. Tomatoes are coming up. Beans are coming up. The mangoes are not suffering. Little 1 gallon. Those were little 1 gallon plants I put in the ground. Eucalyptus is kind of sitting there. Beans are coming up. Beans. There's some zinnias, more tomatoes. These panadols they're just waiting for some rain. Basically, they're just kind of hunkered down, waiting for. This one here needs a little bit of water, but I'm not going to do anything for it at all because I trust my system. And if it goes bad, guess what? I graft a lot of trees so I can replace. But this is what it's looking like with no irrigation. We're producing tomatoes, although I'll be honest, I don't really pick the tomatoes. I don't have time. We have cut flowers we could take if I wanted to. And this is like the lowest maintenance. And I have low expectations for this agroforestry. If you wanted early production and that was important, you could put a lot more effort. You could put irrigation and you can get a lot out of it. Right behind me here, I've got a lot of the grasses up. I haven't cut them because it's so dry. I'm using them to shade the ground, to buffer the wind. And as soon as we get rain, I'm going to cut them and place them, and everything's going to pulse. But even without that, if you look, we are swimming in tomatoes. This is unirrigated. These are those yellow cherry tomatoes. I'm actually picking these for a friend of mine. He's doing a research project, and they're going to try to hybridize these and do something really cool. But I'm getting tomatoes with no irrigation. My bananas, yes, they would love to have some water, but they're sitting and hanging and waiting, and just cruising. This is no input right now. The maintenance and the management for me is based on my goals and my experience and the seasons. And so because we're in a dry season, I'm leaving this grass up. The grass is up. I'm going to leave it until I know it's going to rain. And then I'm going to use it to shield the ground. Once that water's on the mulch, the biology is going to start to activate. Having new mulch on top is going to just help boost everything. And that's how we're growing. Could this be better? Absolutely. If I had an irrigation system here, it'd be going and rocking. But check out this Mombasa. I did a pretty heavy cut on this. I don't know if it was in the video. And then this behind me is a double row of plugs that literally I've watered them one time, and they're looking dry, but I'm pretty confident they're gonna cruise. This row is actually looking a little bit better. I don't know if you can see that. Little double row of Mombasa plugs. Mombasa's on the side. You can see it's senescing. It's kind of light colored. It needs to get cut. On this side, these are a little bit older plugs that we put in. They're still green and growing, and actually growing pretty well with the dry season. Cannas, for some reason, are still growing even though we haven't had any rain. Got a bit of cannas going. Some of these beans are producing beans. So I'll have I could be harvesting these to eat. These little young ones are totally fine to eat. They're actually really nice. And then the main crop in here, as you all know, is my mango tree. Been watered one time. Doing just fine. And there's tomatoes growing in here. There's beans, zinnias. And I put those in just because. They're just bonus. Check out the tomatoes on this one. This one's gonna need, here's the mango tree. And look at the tomatoes just busting out over here. These are all the tomatoes I planted in here were ones that came up after we moved our chickens. There's always tomato sprouts that come up everywhere. I just pull them out of the ground and then plant them in the ground over here, because I never bothered to harvest the seeds and all that. But that's what's going on here with this system. If we had a little bit of rain, it would be going a lot better, but I'm happy with the results, because as I say, you reap what you sow. I put a lot of work in at the beginning. I've done nothing since then. These are the results that I deserve, pretty much. I could get more if I put in more, but I've got other things to do. I did want to give that update, and also just suggest that incorporating chickens into your system is pretty cool. This whole field, this was a huge patch of tomatoes. They've completely mowed that down and tilled it under. And there's going to be tomato seedlings coming up forever in there, and I'll be able to pull them out forever and give them away, trade them away, sell them, whatever. Tomatoes all in here. Can't get away from these Everglades. So once you get going, one of the things about agroforestry is that it helps you cruise through the drought a little bit. You can go into a lot heavier dryland strategies, and I've only touched the surface. I know a lot of you out there are way more used to doing that and working with different things like prickly pear and whatnot. And I hope you, if you have more dryland stuff to share, I hope you put it on a video and share it with us, because we're all here to learn from each other. And I want to learn from you guys. So anyway, oh yeah, check out my pond. Big shout out to Calliope Nursery Farms for helping me out, sending me a crew and an excavator to help me dig this up. I really appreciate you, and especially you, Michelle. Appreciate it, and Alan, of course. We'll see you next time.